1997 by my mother and I from her house in Kildare. Basically, I was helping out at another animal rescue and it didn't work out. So she said, why don't you start your own? So I ended up taking in some stray dogs from the pound, and it just snowballed, and before we knew it we were taking in dogs from Cork, Kerry, Galway, Donegal, you name it. As a result, everybody seemed to find out about PAWS, and soon people were ringing us from all over the country trying to get us to take unwanted animals. We get the strangest reasons for dogs ending up in rescue centres. There's one that we call new baby syndrome, which is basically, I'm pregnant, we need to get rid of the dog. Now, I cannot understand that myself personally, because most of us have grown up with dogs from the time we were small babies. But it is a new phenomenon now in the last few years that people, if they get pregnant, they have to get rid of the dog. The other thing is that a lot of people are leaving Ireland. They're losing their jobs, they're emigrating to Australia, New Zealand. It seems to be a case of, well, the last person to leave the country, please turn out the lights, because as far as I can see, most of the country are leaving. The problem that we find is that people wait till about 4 days before they're leaving, before they decide, oh gosh, I've got to get somewhere for the dog. So we get these calls that say, I'm going to New Zealand on Monday and this is Friday, can you please take in the dog for us? Which leaves us in a very difficult position because we cannot make space at such short notice. The other thing is people losing their houses, which is a major issue at the moment. People having to vacate their homes because they've been taken back by the banks or the mortgage companies, whichever, and they really can't live in a car with a dog. So those people are usually pretty genuine cases. Our running costs last year were €243,000, and that was all raised except we get a small grant from the Department of Agriculture. Last year it was 28,000. The rest is raised by fundraising, flag days, bag packing, schools, people sponsoring a dog by the month, various. It's raised by the public, but you're talking about between 200 and 250,000 a year. Well, we find here the most abandoned dog is the lurcher, unfortunately. A lurcher is anything crossed with a greyhound, and they are the dogs that we get the most of brought in as strays. They're usually in very bad condition when we get them. They're usually suffering from mange, malnutrition. They're usually the kind of dog that are terrified of people. They've been badly abused. They're usually used for hunting, and if they're no good for hunting, they're just abandoned out in the woods. And these dogs do take a lot of rehabilitation, but we get lovely homes for them in Sweden and Italy and the Czech Republic. So over those countries they think they're amazing pets, whereas in Ireland anything to do with a greyhound seems to be, oh, that's not a pet, that should be on a racetrack. But after that I would say collies, which is one of our national dogs. But again, collies are working dogs, and if they're no good for working, they're usually unwanted, and we get quite a lot of them as well. We have conditions of adoption. You can't just walk in and walk out with a dog. We have a questionnaire that people fill out. We ask that you have a fully enclosed garden, and that is our main stipulation. If you don't have a fully enclosed garden, and by enclosed we mean a fence or a wall. We do not mean hedges or electric collars, because they don't work. And if everybody that had a dog had a fully enclosed garden, there wouldn't be so many dogs roaming around the place getting themselves into trouble. But we also ask the dogs be house pets, because we don't believe in dogs being dumped out in back gardens 24/7. They should be part of the family, and we try to avoid homes where there's children under 7, because all our dogs are adult dogs and we don't know their history with small children, so it would be very irresponsible of us to give a dog out to a family with a small child if we had no history on it. But they're the 3 main things, and if you qualify for those 3 conditions of adoption, then we're talking. So people come in, they fill out a questionnaire, we do a home check to make sure that the garden is enclosed, and then we get the dog neutered, vaccinated, microchipped, and we bring it to the new home. That costs PAWS over €200, but our donation to adopt a dog is 120. So on average we lose €80 on every dog, and if it's been here for a few years we lose a lot more, but that's the name of the game and that's what we do. But our minimum donation is 120. Well, we always need dog walkers, particularly Monday to Friday. We have a group that come out from Kilkenny on a Saturday and Sunday called Walk a Dog, and there's usually quite a lot of them. So if anybody is available Monday to Friday to give a few hours in the afternoon to bring some of the dogs for a walk, it's marvellous. The dogs really look forward to it because they love to get out of the kennels. We also need help in the kennels themselves, grooming, playing with the dogs, scrubbing, picking up poo. All these things have to be done, and so volunteers are always welcome every day. From the 1st of January 2015, it is going to be compulsory by law to have your dog microchipped. Every dog in the country has to be microchipped from the 1st of January onwards. So every puppy that is born with a breeder or whatever is going to be microchipped. Every dog rehomed from a shelter, from a dog pound, from anywhere is to be microchipped. There has to be full traceability on all dogs. It's good because, first of all, rescues like ours that get in genuine stray dogs that have actually genuinely got out of the home by accident or whatever, they can be brought back home to their owners. If there's a farmer catches dogs worrying their sheep, they can get the owners of the dog, whether the dog is dead or alive. They can still have the dog scanned for a microchip and they can trace the owner of the dog. It's going to make all our lives a lot easier. It's going to be very hard to police, but I think the way it's going to be policed is through vets and through rescue centres and through dog kennels.